Hello, welcome to Unboxed God, where we detox from religion and discover the God who refuses to fit inside the boxes we were given. I'm Tolu Sarah Johnson, and here we explore who God really is, beyond fair, beyond formulas, and beyond everything we were taught to perform. If you're hungry for a real relationship with Him, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. Wow, so this is going to be Commandment 41 overall, and the third commandment in the theme of trusting. And this is honor God with all you have been given. Trust that refuses to bury what heaven placed in you. Yeah. This commandment is one of the clearest windows into how heaven thinks about trust. Because in this parable, the issue is not seen in the way many people assume. The issue is still worship. It is what you did or refused to do with what God placed in your hands. And that's why the commandment belongs to a theme like trusting, because God's trust is shown in what He entrusts. And your trust is shown in what you do with it. God will entrust you with big things because He trusts you that you are capable of doing that. But it's not left to you to reward or to honor God by showing Him that you can be trustworthy. So, the Bible verse for this is Matthew 25, 14 to 31. So, let's quickly read that. It says, again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled account with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man who had received the 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and I went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. And his master replied, you wicked lazy servant, so you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I return, I will have received it back with interest. So take a bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags, for whatever has been given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken away from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. This is exactly what is happening in heaven now, where we've got a bunch of servants that's been given talent, but they refuse to use the talent. They save up the talent, and now God is just purging heaven and throwing all those worthless servants outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, because they've been given so many opportunities to be fruitful. They've been entrusted. God trusted them That was why he gave them this talent in the first place. But because of their nonchalant attitude, because of their foolishness, stupidity, they do nothing with what God has given them. And God said, I've had enough. I will take the ones I've given you, and I will give it to the ones that are utilizing the talents I've given to them. They will have more. And you that had little, because you've not done nothing with it, you will have none. So this is a wake-up call for God's children, because God entrusts on purpose. Your life is not random. The master in this parable doesn't throw money at people carelessly. He entrusts each according to ability, meaning there is intention. In other words, what you carry, your mind, your personality, your compassion, your endurance, your creativity, your influence, your gift, your resources is not accidental. And the tragedy Jesus exposes is not that people fail. It's that many people never even try to discover what they were made for. And you are in heaven, and you still fail to discover what you are called for. They survive, they cope, they pay bills on earth, they raise families, they repeat routines. But in heaven, there's no responsibility for you to pay bills. So why can't you just arise to what God has committed into your hands, what you've been empowered with? But deep inside, a gift remains unused, a calling remains unopened, a contribution remains unborn. And heaven calls that bearing the talent. And it's really sad that you're still in heaven, you're still bearing your talent. And religion can distract you from your purpose. You can look spiritual and still be unfaithful with your assignment. One of the most sobering parts of this commandment is this: a person can attend church, pray, fast, read scripture, sing, worship song, and still bury their talent. What God has entrusted in you, because He trusted you. What's one thing I've learned from my relationship with God is that God gives everyone the same opportunity to be close to Him. There are no special children. Enoch wasn't special. Moses wasn't special. Elijah wasn't special. Noah wasn't special. They just worked on their relationship with Him. They took advantage of the talent that's been given to them, and they multiply, and they continue to multiply. They continue to build relationship with God. They continue to go out of their way to please Him, to have a proper friendship with Him, where they can challenge Him and He can challenge them, vice versa. Just like Jacob wrestled with God, God wants more of His children to be able to have that level of relationship where they are confident enough to wrestle with Him. You are all trusted. God trusts all of His children at the beginning. When you were coming from heaven to the earth, you knew what you were going to live. Your destiny was shown to you, and God trusted that you were capable of coming to the earth to come and fulfill that destiny. And you get to the heart, of course, the cares of this world, the challenge, and you've forgotten that you've been entrusted with talent, with destiny that has to be fulfilled. And one of the most sobering parts of this commandment is this: a person can continue to attend church, pray, fast, read scripture, and do all of this and still be useless. Not because prayer is wrong, but because religion can become a substitute for obedience. You can perform spiritual routine and still avoid the one thing that God is asking. What are you doing with what I gave you? And this is why Jesus calls the faithful servant good and faithful. But not because they were impressive, but because they moved, they acted, they invested, they tried, they multiplied. You know what I've learned about God is, it's not a there's a word I want to use. It's not a dictator. It's not a dictator. It's a loving Father. Even if you think you're not performing at your best, He's happy by the fact that you act, you move, you tried. It's not looking for your perfection. It's looking for your heart. What is the posture of your heart? That's what He's looking for. It's not looking for how much you give. It's looking for the fact that you even tried, the fact that you put your effort into what God has committed into your hands. No matter how weak you think you are, no matter how poorly you're doing, He appreciates that you do. Just like a father will appreciate you. Even if you wobble and you fall, I will pick you up again. The problem is like a child that's supposed to learn to walk. If the child sits down on its bum and say, because I'm scared, I'm not going to take any step. How will the child ever walk? That's how a lot of us do with the talent, with the gifting that God has entrusted into us. We don't want to move. We don't want to do nothing. We just want to sit on our bum, lazy, complaining. I'm mourning. God, why do you love that person more than that you love me? No, God entrusted all of us with this talent that He thinks that we are capable of. And if you've not used yours, if you've been negligent, do not blame God for whatever the outcome is. The kingdom rewards multiplication, not comparison. God is not comparing your 5 to someone else too. Notice the beauty of the parable. The servant with 5 doubles it, the servant with 2 doubles it, and they receive the same word. Well done, good and faithful servant. God is not asking you to match with another person's calling. He's asking you to be faithful with your portion. And the same thing for people in heaven. That's what He's asking you, to be faithful with what He has given you. And that's what honors God may. Using what you have, where you are, and what you know as you grow. Faithfulness is not measured by the size of your platform. It is measured by the sincerity of your stewardship. And that's why I don't compare myself with no one. I know what God has committed into my hands. And what God has committed into my hands, I will do it with everything in me. Because I love Him. With everything in me. I love Him. So I want you to look at this analogy, the unused car in the rain. Imagine someone buys a brand new car. It was engineered carefully, powerful engine, reliable brakes, purpose-built design. But the owner parks it outside and never drives it. They leave it in the rain. They never start it. They never maintain it. They never use it for its intended purpose. Over time, it rusts. Not because the car was poorly made, but because it was never used. And that is what burying a talent looks like. Not dramatic rebellion, just quiet neglect. And Jesus is saying, I did not design you for rust. All of you in heaven, that you are just rusting in heaven. That's why heaven is throwing you out. Because the Father's had enough of your rustiness, of your carelessness, of your stupidity. He wants you to be in heaven and actively partake in everything that is going on there. Fear and complacency are the enemies. Because the third servant didn't fail, he froze. The servant with 1 talent didn't lose it. He didn't spend it at all. He didn't waste it on partying. He hid it. And why? Fear. He believed the master was harsh. So his picture of the master produces paralysis. And that's the frightening part. Your theology can shape your productivity. If you believe God is hard, you will shrink. Like I used to believe that God was hard. So I ran away from Him. I wasn't willing to have any relationship with Him. If you believe God is disappointed, you will hide. And if you believe God only rewards perfection, you will never start. And that complacency comes in where your life becomes entertainment, comfort, distraction. Not because someone is evil, but because they get comfortable enough to stop growing. So, faithful in little becomes trusted with much. Small obedience is how heaven trains you. And that is how heaven is training you. Do not envy another person's gifting. It's because they are using their own. You've got the same opportunity to utilize the giftings that God has given you. So, helping someone, showing up consistently, encouraging, serving, creating, giving, teaching, writing, building, supporting, praying with sincerity, investing time well. These are small only to the earthly mind, but in the kingdom, small faithfulness is how trust is formed. So you want God to trust you in heaven, start doing this smaller faithfulness. Because this commandment carries a warning. Neglect is not neutral. The master doesn't call the third servant weak, he calls him wicked and lazy. Because opportunity was given, but responsibility was rejected. And this is not meant to produce condemnation, it is meant to produce awakening, because buried gifts don't stay buried quietly. Over time, they become regret. And Jesus is trying to save you from a life that reaches the end and realize I protected myself too much, but I never honored God with what he placed in me. And then it will be too late. So, what does obedience look like? Honor God by investing what you've been given. This commandment is calling you to simple, courageous posture. Discover what God placed in you. Develop it instead of delaying it. Deploy it for love, people, and kingdom impact. Do not bury it out of fear, shame, or comfort. So if you have money, invest in the kingdom. If you have time, serve. If you have voice, use it. If you have insight, share it. If you have compassion, pour it out. If you have creativity, build something that heals and helps. So heaven is not asking for perfection. Heaven is asking for movement. And that's the difference I want you to know today. God is not asking you for perfection. He's asking you for your movement. So as we close, to honor God with all you've been given is to live with this inner agreement. Nothing you place in my hands was meant to die on the ground. And the joy of the commandment is this. When you steward well, God doesn't only reward you. He shares his happiness with you. Come and share your master's joy. God bless you and keep you. See you in the next commandment.